This is Karen for Online Healing Community. Welcome to Creating Space. Today we're going to talk about everyday self-care, and joining us is holistic leader and healer Jayme Timbol. Hi,
Hi.
Jayme.
Hey, Karen. Hi,
Hi.
everyone. How are
Welcome to
you
Creating
today?
Space, Jayme. And but first off, how are you? I know that you've moved to the province since the pandemic.
Yeah, we moved countryside ever since the pandemic started. I think it's really great because the environment is pretty amazing in a province, as you know, nearer nature. And I'm homeschooling, so my child is 8, and we homeschool a lot in the outdoors. And it gives her a very different experience compared to how I was schooled in the past. So it brought a lot of blessings in disguise for us, and we've definitely felt more healthier and then also more energetic, more revitalized here in the province, and we really like it.
I've seen your FB posts, and I see your child paint. I would see you. I would see you out there in the outdoors in the mountains, and your child would paint. There was a quote there where you wrote, "Let's paint the sky red and blue and something something." I was thinking, and the sky is really in different. I think that sunset, and the sky is really in different colors. I was thinking, wow, that's so beautiful that you have that space.
Yes, thank you so much. And I would encourage everyone to go more outdoors and have more fun and explore nature because it's a big part of our self care, which is the topic today.
Right. And how lucky are you that you're there out in nature, out in the countryside. But first off, let's define terms. Like we're talking about everyday self-care. What is self-care, Jamie?
I really love the definition of the Oxford Dictionary, which says that self care is taking action and an active part in improving one's health and well being. I really like that definition because it brings the power back to oneself to do something for oneself. So instead of thinking, I'm a victim of my circumstances or just whatever happens, you really need to take action and take an active part if you want to care for yourself. And it expands it to a whole broader perspective about self-care. When we talk about self-care, we think about the different aspects of health as well, not just your physical health, which is about your rest, your sleep, your food, and your nutrition. It is also about your etheric or your energetic health, your emotional health, your mental health, and your spiritual health. And so when you're taking an active part in your self care, you're looking to improve all of those levels of health in you. And it makes it such a beautiful area to really talk about and focus on today because it's not just about little tiny practices to feed the body. Because we're not only bodies, we're body, mind, and spirit. And so it takes into account we're all of the above. And so we need to do things that are all of the above to really feed not only our bodies, but also our minds and our souls. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I would like to define self care is really taking an active part in improving one's well being and health across all 5 levels of health.
Right. I love that definition, active part. But I've been speaking to a lot of students and a lot of mental health experts and a lot of mothers as well. And the question they ask me is, isn't self-care selfish?
I like that question because I think it's come up as well a lot in a lot of discussion forums and talks. And
Mhm.
my spiritual mentor, Master Delpe, he's a Ilocano and he's just in Cervantes, Ilocos. If you have an opportunity to come to Ilocos, let us know. We'd love to have you. So he's from the MDP ashram. And he says that, in your life, there are 5 areas. One of which is yourself. So your health, your recreation, etc., all about you. Second will be your home and family. Third will be your career, finances. Fourth will be your social contribution. And fifth will be your spirituality. All
Mhm.
areas of your life need to be balanced for you to feel like you are whole. If any parts of those, if any parts of the pie are imbalanced or we're not diseases coming up, and when I say disease, again, it's not just physical.
Right.
it could be emotional. You're feeling resentful, you're feeling a little bit angry because you have no time for yourself. It could be like it's a mental issue, like you're feeling really anxious because you're overwhelmed, or you're beginning to feel panicked about a number of things that are happening. Or it could be a spiritual issue as well. You feel like I'm giving so much of myself. Why am I not getting anything in return? What is my true purpose? Things like that. So what happens is um, something so integral in your life cannot, and if you focus on that part, is not you being selfish. It's you making sure that all areas of your life are prioritized and balanced. So you feel whole and you feel integrated as a human being. And you're just not focusing on more than or the other. It has to be all of the above for you to be able to have a balanced, successful, and fulfilled life. Also, if you're not focusing on yourself, what can you give to others? I think we've heard a lot of that conversations as well. You can't give from an empty cup. Or if you're feeling resentful or stressed or burnt out and anxious, you can't be that. And then in front of the public, you're so happy. You give so much. You're kind, compassionate, because then you're not really being authentic. Because a part of you is feeling really miserable. And so when we think about self care, it's not really selfish. It is an integral part of having a really balanced and fulfilled life. And when you take care of yourself, then the more you can care of the other areas of your life that need to be taken care of. So no, it's not selfish at all.
Right. And have you always been aligned?
I'm,
Or
I love that question, just because it's very honest and direct, and the answer is no, absolutely not. When we're students, we're focused on getting good grades, and having the best friends, and being popular in school or things like that. And then when you grow up a little bit more, you focus on graduating and having a really good career. And then afterwards, you focus on having a home and family. So different stages of life, we all have different focuses. And same with me. At one point I was so focused on my career that my relationships deteriorated, or there was a time that I was focused on my spirituality that I began to lose focus on other things in my life, right? So as I mentioned, I think it does take a very strong willpower to get back into that place of alignment, and also an honest self-auditing to know that where you are right now and where would you really like to be. So if you were to rate yourself as to where you are right now and all of the different aspects of your life, or in the 5 levels of health, where you are and where would you like to be in the future. So I had that realization for me because from corporate, I moved to yoga and the wellness industry. And I think you're going to, ask me about that too. Never really a time in my life where I was really focusing on all 5 areas at the same time. And it's just at this very moment that I found my spiritual mentor, that I found a school that allows me to get on a curriculum to really focus on that has allowed me to come from a place of more alignment. And I say this is lifelong. It's not like you're aligned and that's it. That's the point of arrival. I think just like enlightenment, we are more enlightened day after day, and it's a question of what is our degree of enlightenment, and are we taking an active part towards that. So the answer is no. It took me a while to get here, but the most important thing is I'm here, and that's why I really want to share this with you.
yeah. And for people who are just getting started in their path to enlightenment, or just to self care, just to taking care of themselves, what would be the first tips that you can share with them?
I think a lot of people think self care is so complex, and you need to take 5 hours or more for your self care. But it could be a micro practices on a daily basis that you do for you, and so it could be a moment where you meditate, or a moment where you carve out time for you for self thinking time, or a moment where you plan out your day, or a moment where you pray, a moment where you dance. These could be little moments, micro moments that you gather all that to say that today I have really done a lot for myself, and don't feel depleted or don't feel burnt out or depressed that I'm giving so much to others and not for myself. So I'd say self-care doesn't have to be complex or needs to have a lot of time. It could be simple, micro, and efficient practices where you feel like I've done something for myself today, and I've done something for others as well. So I feel more balanced. And so do something that you can do every single day of your life that is sustainable. That's not something that you only do once a week. or once a month. It has to be something that you can do every day to make it
Why?
feel like this is going to be there for the long haul. I think a lot of us are so good into um, planning for things that we love doing, and then we're so inspired, we're so motivated, we're feeling so excited to do them, and we probably can do them 1 week, 2 weeks, and then a month max, or a quarter max, a year max, and then after that it really falls off. So it has to be something that you can commit to doing every day for yourself. And as I mentioned, they don't have to be super complex. It can be very simple micro practices that you do for you that make you feel integrated and whole and balanced.
Why does it have to be a daily routine or a daily habit?
Sure. Because if it's not daily, just like eating every day, brushing your teeth every day, sleeping every day, these are routine practices. Again, like you would ask, why not? So if you're able to spend time to check your social media every day, why can't you do something for yourself every single day? If you're doing it every day, it means it's something important, it's something that you prioritize, and it's something that you are really committed to. And if you're truly committed to taking an active part in your well-being, and also in improving your 5 levels of health, or whatever it is you're focusing on right now, you're going to do it every day. So it's no question, right? Same way that, as I mentioned, you do a lot of the important things in your life every single day, autopilot, but with a lot of mindfulness and consciousness into them. So I think that's why self-care practices need to be done on a frequent, regular, and daily basis. So you always feel that sense of balance and integration in you.
Yeah, completely agree. Can you share with us your everyday self care routine?
Sure. So I wake up earlier so I could align. So I do meditation, but some of you might do prayers. Or if you're not religious, or if you're not spiritual, it could be a moment of being quiet, right? And then afterwards, I do biomechanical exercises and breathing practices, which I will teach in my workshop tomorrow. I hope you can come and check it out. Stress and fatigue buster, where these are biomechanical exercises and breathing practices that just help throughout the day, because they quickly revitalize and rejuvenate me. And then they also awaken multiple levels of intelligences in whoever does that. And then afterwards is a meditation, a simple meditation. And as I said, simple could also mean very profound, where it could be blessing others, or having moments of being grateful, or sharing some goodwill with others. It could be an act of service, or it could be you're blessing others in thought, in deeds, or in words, and also blessing everyone I'm going to meet, even the audience here today, for that entire day. And also, part of my day will be visualizing how my day is going to turn out like, and then also manifesting what those results are going to be after. And then, of course, so that's my morning routine. So I do that after I take a shower, before I do my breakfast. And afterwards is I can go back into some of the practices when I want to feel centered, when I want to feel grounded, or I can go into more um, more in-depth meditation about particular things. And throughout the day, it could be like spending time with my child, or spending some thinking time. And then at night as well, I have that routine. Like before I sleep, I also align, I meditate. And again, it doesn't. If you're non-denominational, it could be a time of being quiet, gathering your thoughts. One thing is, whatever your practice is, that it's something that you can do every single day, and it's very simple and yet effective and efficient, and you could do it every single day. So this morning routine that I'm talking about is maximum. The exercises are probably about 5 minutes. The breathing practice is another, a few minutes, and then the meditation is a little bit longer, 20 minutes, something like that. So it's less than an hour, but you could do a faster type of meditation, and towards the night it's a little bit more simpler than that. But throughout the day, it's peppered with different types of things that I do, that are also, I could say, more like self-care practices, but micro practices.
Would you recommend a morning routine or an evening routine for people
I
who are
would,
starting out?
yeah, I'm a night owl, but I recommend a morning routine, because what happens is sometimes when you wake up and you turn on your phone, sometimes what happens is you just ride the waves of what comes your way, totally throwing your entire day off. But if you start a morning routine, then it sets the tone for your day. And the rest is a little bit more smooth sailing. And you're very purposeful. You have already visualized how you want your day to go. You've already blessed everyone you're going to meet. And you have carved out the most important tasks for the day, or your priorities for the day, or what you need to do for the day. So it really sets a different tone, as opposed to you waking up and then doing your stuff and then later on just, winding the day down. So it makes such a big difference. So I recommend a morning routine, even if you're not a morning person. You could be waking up a little bit later, but that's the first thing you do anyway. And just just see the difference for you. And the other thing that I was going to say is experiment in this. Like if you do your self care routine one day, try to not do it other days and see what was better for you. How much more productive were you, or how do you feel more when you do your self care routine? And I think when we do these practices, we have to get them to a point where we can measure the results for ourselves. And what I mean that is, it doesn't have to be like a complex mathematical formula and answer. It could just mean that, when I do these practices, I feel so much better. I feel more aligned, more centered, more balanced, and I feel like I'm kinder to people, or I don't lose my temper. And so you already know the results, right? It's so much different as opposed to turning on your phone first thing in the morning, or watching TV first thing in the morning, or eating without having that type of conscious effort in the beginning to set your entire day in tone. You'll begin to feel that your environment influence you so much, whether the environment is good or bad. And before you know it, you're swimming against the tide as opposed to you setting the tone for the entire day. So we would like to make sure that we set the tone for the day, so it's a little bit more purposeful, and we will notice a big difference in our lives that makes.
Right. I'm hearing a lot of complaints from mothers recently, especially during the pandemic, that they don't have time for themselves and they don't even have time for self care. Yeah. Will a morning routine or, like you said, micro habit help them with
Yeah,
that?
absolutely. I think the biggest part of definition is act, do something. You know, the moment you felt like you didn't really have time, for example, the biomechanical exercises that I'm talking about are 4 minutes. They're 8 to 10 exercises and you're done. Everyone has 4 minutes. Everyone has 5 minutes. And as I mentioned, I think there is an idea that self care has to have a lot of time or take up a lot of space. And if you take time for your self care, then you're robbing time away from the other priorities, which could be true in a way. But you have to really look at self auditing. Really helps. So take a look at your pie. How much time do you really do spend for self care as opposed to home and family, career, social contribution, spirituality, and you might be surprised. You might find that you actually spend a lot of time in self care and just not labeling it as self care. Rest and sleep are self care. And when you think about it, we sleep 8 hours a day. Like we sleep more than we spend time with our family or maybe in our careers. So you will be surprised that you actually really spend a lot of time for self care, because eating time is also self care. Every time your rest is self care. So there's a lot of things that we do for self care, and maybe we don't label them as that. But I think this is where self auditing really helps. Is you take a look at your life pie and the different areas and how much time you're spending in each of those categories to really give you a true indication of whether you really have no time for self care or you do. And if you don't, if it's really like that piece of the pie is so small, then what are you going to do about it? Perhaps there are other areas which you could prioritize more, try to see which is really more urgent, and then you move more time into the self-care. There will be a time where a lot of these are integrated, where it feels more cohesive. But in the beginning, it feels just a little bit more separate. But more and more, as you take your life, are going to merge. So, for example, your time with your family could be time for self-care as well, because you do things together that you really love, like vacation time is self-care, but also you're spending your time with your family. Or for example, when you do your social service projects, for you maybe that is self-care because it feeds your soul, your spiritual health. And what if you do them with your friends or your family? Then it becomes like you're hitting three aspects of the pie all at once. So there will be moments in your life where more of that is going to be integrated, where you don't feel like you're robbing one part of the pie and you're giving more to the other, where there's going to be more integrations in that pie. You just need to, self auditing is really helpful. And then also like having thinking time to say, what are the areas that I could really synthesize and do together? And I could like hit all those parts of the pie, you know? And you will be
Right.
surprised to find that there are actually a lot more areas like that than you ever thought of.
Right. I think that's what people need, a time to assess themselves,
Yes,
because Filipinos are the number one social media users in the
yes,
world.
yes.
And we consume so much social media that sometimes if you look at that, we don't have time to look at ourselves, but we have time to look at others.
Correct. And I love that reflection, and it's so true. We really love entertainment. So, for some people, entertainment might be self care, which is true. But sometimes, like, just have a check how much time you're spending on your phone or on social media. When you say you really don't have time for yourself, did you at least have 30 minutes looking at TikTok videos? So if you could have, used up that time for something that's meaningful for you, and maybe, yeah, TikTok videos is it, but then recognize it, that that was your time for self-care. If that what brings you joy and brings meaning to your life, then label it properly, that was a time for your self-care. So I think, again, like, auditing helps, reflection helps, planning helps, and then also just recognizing where you are in your life, knowing where you are right now, and more importantly, what you want to develop and where would you like to be moving forward, and taking action and taking an active part in making that change is very important.
Thank you for sharing that, Jamie. And tomorrow you're going to have a stress and fatigue buster with
Yes,
us. Yeah,
I
perfect time for
really,
self
I
care.
really love this workshop. Thank you, Karen, for organizing it. I know a lot of the medical students are coming from different schools, and I would love to invite the online healing community here. Please come. And if you feel like you need to have a starting point for your self care journey, it's a really good starting point. I not only share about the biomechanical exercises that we can do that are only 4 minutes, or the breathing practices that are also very short, only a few minutes each one, but also the reason why, what makes those very special, what makes those very unique and different, and why they're doable, why they're sustainable, why you can integrate them into your life and feel so much better moving forward. So I think this is, if you're investing in yourself, in your development, in your self-care, this workshop is something that you might want to look into, because it will not disappoint, and it will really bring you a lot more awareness about yourself, about others, and how you would like to make those changes in your life. I was also going to say that apart from, rejuvenating, revitalizing, and calming the emotions, it also helps with releasing weight sustainably, and also overcoming fatigue and stress, and awakening the multiple levels of intelligences. For a lot of us, I think we're familiar with intelligent quotient and emotional quotient, but I'd love for you to come tomorrow, because I'm going to tell you more about the different other aspects of intelligences that are embedded in us that we probably don't really talk about. And tomorrow we'll do a practice that allows for us to awaken them. And you'll be surprised how easy it is to do it. So
All
please come. I'd
right.
love to have you, and let's get empowered together.
Somebody just messaged me. She said, tomorrow is an inauguration, something political. I don't think I can watch. Can we just do yoga or meditation? I was telling her, can you just go to our program, to the Stress and Fatigue Buster program? Because a lot of things are happening also politically in the Philippines. And it's good. It's good for some people. It's not so good for others. For those who are having an emotional, for tomorrow, something will happen. So for those who are having difficulty probably coping with it, we'd like to invite you to the Stress and Fatigue Buster program.
Yeah, even more. I think, again, no matter what's happening around you, you need to feel empowered to be okay inside of you, no matter what goes on around you. So the environment is such a powerful factor, but we have to remember that we're also very empowered to make transformation within us. So, and more inward. So I think the Filipinos are very outward looking, and it's to no one's fault. It's just the way that it is. But it's time that we also invest inward and look inward and also empower ourselves with things that we already have inside of us to deal with that type of environment. Because then, if we're not really investing and first starting with ourselves, then we are just becoming a part of mainstream and the crowd, and we are being run by events instead of us being empowered to really respond to the different things that are happening around us. So let's take a step back to say I'm investing my time to do this for myself, because in doing this for myself I will be more empowered to respond to others and the situations and the local, national, or global environment around me. So I think the first step is the self more than the external, and then the self. So from the from the self outward instead of from outward to the self. I think that will make a really big difference the way we view the things happening around us as well. So I hope you can come and check it out, because it will truly make a big difference.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. The word that's coming up for me is the word anchor. Like if there's a lot of things going on, but if you're really anchored on who you are, and if you're like you said, if you're empowered, then you won't be swayed with the many things that's happening, because it's really a time of uncertainty at this point. Like you
Yeah,
said, nationally or
yeah,
internationally.
Karen, I really love that word anchored. So um, in the stress and fatigue buster workshop that we're doing tomorrow, we're doing a centering and grounding breathing practice that is so easy and yet so powerful. It helps you anchor, anchor within yourself, anchor to your purpose, your mission, your goals, anchor to whatever your priorities are, whatever you're seeing yourself as doing. And that anchor is very important. So again, as I mentioned, that's the reason why I say first thing in the morning, self-care routine, and then you go out to the world and radiate to the world. We can't always say we give you light and love, if you're giving from a part of you that feels inauthentic about that, because you don't feel them about yourself. So you have to anchor, align, and empower yourself before you can radiate that to others. So it's very important to start from the self and then go outward instead of the other way around.
Yeah. So again, we're inviting you to Jamie's class tomorrow. It's going to be from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. and it's called Stress and Fatigue Buster class. So that's a starting point for everyone who's starting their self-care journey. And Lali saying thank you for reminding us to take time to take care of ourselves. Jenny saying, love everything you said. And they also love the self auditing and reflection part. So hopefully we can see you everyone tomorrow. Final words, parting words for everyone listening or will be listening in the future, Jamie.
Would love to see you tomorrow in a stress and fatigue buster workshop. We will do a lot of easy and yet very powerful steps towards self-care and really making you empowered across the 5 levels of your health: your physical health, your etheric or energetic health, emotional, mental, and spiritual health. And again, as I mentioned, this investment you're making in yourself is going to grow exponentially, radiating out of you. So if there's anything that you find truly important, it is that time that you invest in yourself for your self-care, self-auditing, self-thinking time, so that you can give more to others. And then also, if you are in need of healing, we have monthly telehealings. We also have a heal plan. And if you want to be a healer, we have certifications for healing at the World Institute for Incurable Diseases. You can look it up, the website, or www.masterdelpe.org, about my spiritual mentor, Master Delpe. And we'd love to see you in Ilocos, Cervantes, where the village is. So thank you so much, Karen, for this beautiful community and invite. How to join for tomorrow? I think the link is on the Facebook Live.
Yeah.
The Facebook page.
Yes. Can you please put the link, Lali and Jen? So there's a link there. We have an event page, and you just have to register, and you can join for tomorrow's class. So there.
Yeah.
And then
If you're doing this live, or maybe you're viewing this a little bit after, please come and join us, and you will really take a huge deal out of it. It's really going to help make your life better and really transform your idea about self-care and your idea about yourself and others. So please come.
yes, and invest in yourself, like what Jamie said.
Yeah,
So
what is
that's
2 hours?
true.
It's nothing.
It's just about
Sometimes we
movie
can do
time.
Yeah, we can do telenovela marathons for 8 hours or more.
Mm.
2 hours is nothing. So please come. It will help change your life. And I don't say that lightly. I've been to a lot of programs and I've done a lot of trainings and I've been all over the world and met a lot of teachers as well. But this one is so practical, so grounded, and so easy to do. You'll be surprised, and yet it truly works. So I hope we can see you there.
Okay, so see you all tomorrow. That's Thursday, 8 o'clock to 10 p.m. Philippine time. And the registration link is below. It's a community class, so you just can give what you can. If you don't have anything, that's also fine. Just come to the class. Okay, thank you so much for your time, Jamie, and we'll see you tomorrow in class. Bye,
Thank you so much,
everything.
Sharon. See everyone soon.
See
Bye.
you
Thank
soon,
you for having me.
everyone. Thank you,
Love
thank you
and
again.
blessings and power.